Welcome to Budapest Serial Chillers.
Aujourd'hui, on va parler en français. Aujourd'hui, on va parler en français. On va parler en français. Moi, je ne parle pas français très bien, donc je vais essayer. Hey, man, let me not make a fool of myself, man. I come from a French-speaking region, though. I don't speak French.
But how come?
Man, it's crazy. If I tell you, I'll tell you.
I remember that's why you grew up in Germany, so yeah.
Come on, it's a bilingual country, baby. I don't speak French. My president doesn't speak French as well. Anyway, before we get into that, man, welcome to the 4th edition of the Budapest Serial Chillers.
Yeah. And this edition today, it's going to be a very, and like I said, I always say special edition. This is another special edition, mind you. Today we're having a guy from an Ivory Coast. Yeah. I'm gonna give him the honors to introduce himself in a minute. And he hit me up and told me that he has some very interesting topics that he would like to bring to our attention. And we love knowledge here, man. We're all about knowledge. So I'm just gonna give the floor to him to introduce himself. Man, welcome to my residence.
Thank you so much. And it's an honor and privilege to be here. You know, with a great Mufassah. You know, it's been a long time coming. You know, and I really appreciate the opportunity. You know, to be a guest today for this new episode of your podcast. So my name is Serge-Olivier, Konan. Like my brother here said, I'm from Ivory Coast. Moved to Hungary, let's say 5 years ago, back in 2017. And so far it's been a pretty good, challenging, experience, coming from where we come from and ending up here. It's been great so far.
Yeah, and before we started this podcast, you told me that you have been here for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
You came here. You moved here in 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
From India.
Yeah, from India. So, I studied in Ghana. I studied in Ivory Coast. Then I moved to Ghana to pursue my studies, and graduated in 2011. Went back to my country, worked for a few years. And 2014, I resigned from my company there. For the company I was working for, I, created my own business, an IT company. So I was basically a service provider to other companies, mostly customers of my, the company I just resigned from.
Yeah.
As I was the IT engineer, I had the opportunity to work on site. Most of the time, so kind of build some relationships. So my big brother, is also an IT engineer specialized in telecommunications. So I created my IT company, and then I had the opportunity to move to India. So I was recruited by Tata Consultancy Services as an IT engineer there. And yeah, that's how I ended up in India.
And then what brought you to Budapest? What brought you here to Budapest?
It's a pretty interesting and long story. So
we want to hear that.
So I spent like 1.5 years in India, and according to our contract, that's the most time that we can spend there.
1.5 years.
Yeah, 1.5 years, no extension. So at the end of my contract, I'm extended an offer, by TCS, the company I was working for. And at the same time, I'm extended 2 other offers by one by IBM and one by Zebra Technology, who is also part of the Motorola group, And so the Zebra Technology opportunity is the most interesting. Like, they're offering me a senior position in the 3rd largest city in Czech Republic. I think it's Brno, something like that, at BRNO. And, with all good salary, all the benefit and stuff. Yeah. So, I decided to go for that offer. So I ditched the other 2 offers, and I, travel back home to apply for the visa, for the Czech visa. But there's no Czech Republic embassy in my country, so I have to travel to Ghana to apply for the visa. So I traveled there, I set the appointment with the consulate and everything, and the head of the visa section. Have all my documents ready since India, because I started the process there. But as I was running short of time and I had to leave India, so I had to continue the process with the embassy in Accra, in Ghana. So I arrived, and during the appointment, I gave all the documents and everything, and she grabs the job offer, she reads the job title, the salary, and all the benefits, and she tells me right to my face, "You're never gonna get this job," not through me.
Really?
Yeah, and at that point, I realized what's going on. So we enter a battle.
So the amount of money was huge. Eh?
It was good. We can say that it was good. So yeah, so we enter a battle, and basically, yeah, I mean, I'm the less powerful or the least powerful in that battle. It was basically weak David going against Goliath. So I couldn't win, and even with the help of the company that was supposed to, that was hiring me, she wouldn't even allow me to submit my visa application. So after a battle that lasted 2 months, I decided not to pursue that opportunity.
But did you inform the company? I
informed them. Yeah, I informed the HR, I informed the recruitment team, I informed the person that was supposed to be my future manager, and they tried everything they could. At first, they were putting pressure on the embassy, stressing them out, and they realized that they couldn't accomplish anything.
Yeah.
By pressuring them, so they tried a more diplomatic way. But that lady was set on the fact that I couldn't get that opportunity in her country.
With no justification.
With no justification. So yeah, she denied me that opportunity. And finally, TCS, like Tata, in Hungary, they were still, chasing me like, "Yo, what's up? The opportunity is still there,
Yeah, man.
And I was like, yeah, I have no other job offers, and why not? So that's how I ended up in Hungary, 2017. And it was pretty smooth, that, let's say that the whole process, because the moment I accepted the job offer, Tata sent me all the documents in Ivory Coast. All I had to do was to travel to Abuja in Nigeria, submit my visa application, and 1.5 months later, I had my visa. And 1 month later, I was in Hungary, so pretty smooth. So kudos to Tata for handling that process so well, and also great thanks to the embassy of Hungary in Abuja in Nigeria for being basically decent human beings.
Yeah.
Because it seems like nowadays it's a trait that is very difficult to find. People see you and they don't see your qualifications. They don't see your.
It's very sad.
The only thing that I see is the skin. Your skin color, and it's unfortunate because I feel like they denied their country a good opportunity for someone, like me or any other black person that might have faced the same thing, to, basically provide them with a different experience,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's very sad to see sometimes, because of the color of our skin, man. I know that's not easy. Maybe this topic is overspoken, but I think
we need to speak about
I mean, in life, this color is still the problem, man. This color, we still suffer because of this color. I mean, I know sometimes you go somewhere, even here in Hungary, sometimes you go somewhere and people still stare at you and look at you.
Yep.
We're in 2022.
Yeah.
So I do understand that it's not easy being a black person in this world.
Yeah. I was having the same conversation this morning. I went to Willie's, to have a fresh haircut and stuff. And we were having the same conversation. One of the barbers there was telling me that, now they changed the law again regarding, basically fatherhood. So if you have a child here as a foreigner, especially from a third world country, you have to provide your birth certificate, and you have to have it translated, apostille, certified by the embassy of Hungary in your region or in your country. So the process is so complicated now. And he wasn't even aware of that fact. He wasn't made aware of that fact. So he ended up, for his last son or his last daughter, they ended up with a birth certificate where his name is not mentioned as a father. And to him, he was like, yeah, that's messed up. But
it's a new law.
yeah, it's a new law, you know. And
It's like they keep changing the laws to make it difficult for us.
exactly. So yeah, and then we started having, a conversation about, all those same subject, social issues, social justice, racism and stuff. And I was sharing a few of my experiences here with them, as I was telling them that, wherever I move in the world, wherever I, travel and I work, I always try to conduct myself as a, not just, being me, but being an ambassador for my country and also for my people, for black people.
Exactly,
so I'll try to, move a certain way, walk a certain way, and basically conduct myself a certain way.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's never enough. First of all, it's even fucked up that you have to, move a certain way just to show other people that I'm not that guy, I'm not this guy. It's already fucked up.
Yeah.
And so wherever I go, that's how I conduct myself. So I moved to Hungary. I'm living somewhere near Octagon. And as usual, wake up in the morning, go to work, like dressed up in a suit, tie and everything, or sometimes just a formal shirt, formal pants, nice shoes, make sure that I display my work ID, have my laptop bag on the side, and still there are some people, some neighbors that found some things to say about me. They found some of my neighbors called the police many times, on me. Some of them broke my window, the window of my flat, just because I was sitting in my living room having a conversation with some friends or colleagues, like black friends, just like we're having now. Not playing music.
They threw a stone on the
Yo,
window?
she used the broom, broke the freaking window.
You call the police?
She called the police on us many times, and that time she broke the window, I was like, yeah, I'm out of here, And before I even had the opportunity to move out, once I was coming back from work and I entered the building and I see, everyone sitting in the patio, like in a circle.
Yeah.
It seems strange to me, but whatever, they're having their meeting and stuff. Go inside, get on the shower, and let's say maybe about 10 minutes later, I hear the bell, and I, like, what the fuck, who is that? Come out, and it's our flat manager, and she comes in, and she proceeds to tell me that that old lady that broke my window, they were having that meeting, and basically the meeting was about me. And she was telling people that as, I'm doing drugs and stuff, and she doesn't even understand why the landlord can rent his flat to a black guy and stuff. She doesn't even know what the fuck I'm doing in Hungary. Maybe I'm selling drugs and stuff. And I'm like, yo, you see me every freaking morning leave this building because you're so interested in my person that you're always standing at the balcony. And we live on the same floor. You might write like next neighbor, so it's not like you don't see me. You see me leave this building every morning dressed in a formal way, like suit, tie, and everything. And you still think that I'm selling drugs in Hungary? What kind of fucked up mindset do you have?
It's
I
crazy,
mean,
man.
yeah,
It's
and this
crazy.
is one of the many bad experiences that I had here. But obviously, Budapest, and I wouldn't even say Hungary, is Budapest. Budapest is not only made of, bad experience, there are also great things happening here.
It's very crazy sometimes that they categorize all. I'm not saying everyone, but they categorize everyone in the same basket. I'm not saying that every African person here is a saint, but not all Hungarians are saints as well.
Absolutely.
We are living in a country here that we are blended. We have gone past the 1920s. We're now in 2022.
Exactly.
And now everything is not. You have to have knowledge to tackle some things. You see a black person, you think that it's a gangster movie. He's selling drugs.
Exactly. You're making a very good point here, because I was even saying the same thing, this morning when I was having that conversation at Willie's, and I was telling them it is fucked up to me that we are not allowed to be ourselves. We are not allowed to make any mistake, because you make a single mistake as a black person, they use it as a characteristic for all your people, everyone that looks like you.
Yeah.
They see a black person in the street with dreadlocks, with tattoos. They'll be like, oh, this guy is a gangster. He's a drug dealer. He's a whatever the fuck you name. They see a white kid with dreadlocks and tattoos. Oh, he has style.
Yes, that, yeah,
Like,
man. It's crazy.
The
Man.
fuck.
It's crazy,
Really.
man.
So,
It's very crazy.
yeah, and it's all because of this, you know, the color of her skin. And it's unfortunate that in 2022, there's still some people that think this way. You know, thank God it's it's mostly the old generation, even though there are some new people that still have younger people that still have a fucked up mindset, but it's mostly the old generation. The new generation is more and more opening, you know, to our presence in the country. They're embracing us, they're embracing our culture, they're embracing our music, they're embracing, you know, our lifestyle and basically our whole persona.
Yeah, it's called anarchy mindset. These people are they're anarchists.
Yeah.
But anyway, see, man, and there was this interesting topic that you brought up, and I think that it has not been emphasized enough. It's you said men and men's mental health.
Yeah.
This is a very personal topic to you. I see you.
Oh yeah.
You're always tweeting about it on your. You're always like on your story.
Like kind of,
on your Instagram stories, posting about it on your story. Thank you.
Mental health.
Yeah.
You know about that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, it's a very dear topic to me.
Exactly.
Especially because, you know, in today's society, when I say we, it's basically all of us. We have to be accountable and we have to hold our responsibility in how men deal with mental health and, you know, even mental illnesses sometimes.
Yeah.
We or men are taught to man up instead of speaking up or even taking care of themselves.
In your country, Ivory Coast, where you come from, is there enough emphasis on mental health?
Nope, there's not, and that's the big problem. I think it's first of all, like discussions about mental health or the lack of discussions about mental health. It's a general issue,
of course,
in the whole world. But especially when you take like African or, you know, let's say most African countries, it's even a bigger of an issue there because first of all we lack the resources.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
We are taught that, you know, for instance, studying psychology at the university is a waste of time. You know, I never met a psychologist in my country, you know, and even some of my friends that studied psychology, it was because they had no other option and their goal wasn't to become a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whatever. It was just for them to maybe, you know, lean towards criminology, and, you know, toward the end of their studies, like maybe major in a certain, you know, field and work maybe as a CSI, you know, with the police or, you know, this kind of stuff. But they never really valued the field of psychology. And so we lack the resources. There's not enough conversation around it. We're not really open to it. It's a cultural thing. Yeah. We believe that we can solve, you know, all our issues by, you know, having a drink with a friend, sharing our stories or our experience, or with family and stuff. And it's just not the case. You know, when you need to build a house, you call an architect. You don't call a plumber.
Exactly.
You don't call a driver. You know, so when you need to deal with mental health, you need
a therapist.
Yeah, a therapist
or a counselor.
How
easy is it to find this kind of people in Ivory Coast? Counselors, therapists.
I mean, I've, you know, in the past few years, I've been, you know, kind of making my own researches, and I can say that it's
getting better.
It's getting better. Yeah, you know, before that it was pretty, you know, difficult to find one. But now also, like, I guess, like the mindsets there are, you know, are changing about you know, around those same topics, and many people are seeking professional help. So you can find many Facebook or Instagram pages, you know, for this kind of, you know, professional services, and it's good to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But how has mental health affected you personally in your own life?
I would say that it affected me a lot, because you know, when you speak of mental health, it's just one's you know, state of, you know, state of mind, or mental state, or emotional state at a given point. But it can also come from, you know, different sources. It can come from,
of course,
you know, childhood traumas, or even current, you know, experiences and stuff. And you know, having to find myself in some situations, you know, like moving abroad, you know, to a different country, or even fatherhood, becoming a father and stuff, kind of like also taught me a lot about the things that, you know, I even had to deal with as a child, you know, where be it, you know, childhood trauma, and the experiences that we have in our families, you know, with our parents, with even our society or our cultures and stuff. And these are things that we carry with us, you know, even being an adult. And when you find yourself in some situations that can trigger, you know, those, you know, traumas and bad experiences, this can have an effect and a pretty bad impact on your mental health. So I had to experience that. I had to learn the hard way, because at some point in my life I was depressed as fuck. I was suicidal and everything.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I had to learn that, you know, conversations with friends will not really solve.
It doesn't really.
Won't solve anything, and you have to at some point, you know, seek professional help, like help. Sure. So I had to see you know, a therapist, and that kind of like helped me dig into all those, you know, issues, all those, you know, traumas, all those experiences, and basically helped me overcome my depression.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also remember sometime I personally have suffered mental health, you know, but mine originates from childhood. In Germany, you know, because it's due to an abuse, you know, molestation, things like that, and all this builds up. If you do not treat it properly at the right time, it builds up to your adulthood. So mine has personally affected me throughout my whole life. You know, there's even times that I question myself, like, are you ready to live on this earth? And, you know, that's when you start using narcotics, using on all kind of drugs, you know, just to drift away
from reality.
From reality. And that's when you realize that sometimes you don't even realize it, that you're depressed or you're in this state. Somebody can actually see it. So how do you deal with it? You had a therapist here in Hungary?
I had a therapist here. First of all, it didn't come out of the blue. It was because I was basically in a situation, and, you know, a couple situation, and we were seeing at the time a couple therapist, like, together. And so we had sessions, like, you know, either together or individual sessions with our therapist. And of course, she's a professional, so she could see the signs, you know, of depression on me. And during one of our sessions, she asked me point blank, "Are you suicidal?" Like, straight up. And I'm like, "Yep, I am."
and that was when? Last year?
No, that was like in 2019.
2019, okay.
Yeah, that was in 2019. So, yeah, she asked me point blank, "Are you suicidal?" And I'm like, "Yep, I am." And, you know, we discussed that. And so she recommended me another psychologist that I was seeing on the side, you know. So, and that helped me also, you know, dig into all the things that I was going through. And it wasn't only, you know, like relationship related or whatever, but it had to do with my whole, you know, human experience. You know, you just spoke about childhood trauma, and for me it was the same as well. Like, you know, I went through a lot of, you know, fucked up shit as a kid, and stuff. You know, our parents are what they are. We love them,
Yeah, we
but
love
they
them, that's
also
true.
put us through some shit.
Yeah, they put us through a lot of shit, Papa,
Exactly.
Mama.
Exactly. So yeah, you know, I can, you know, I will sum it up this way. I kind of like lived in a, let's say, in a house of hell, if I can say so, because my dad being first like in the military, and then
My father as well, yeah.
exactly, and then he
Same.
left the military and joined the police, and he was like, you know, a pretty fit guy, you know, black belt and everything and stuff, and yeah, we were kind of like his punching bag, you know, as kids. And for me, being like the last child, it didn't really affect me in the sense like, you know, that it physically hit on me.
Yeah.
But for me, it was traumatic to,
Of
you know,
course.
witness him, you know, hit on my brothers and even my mom, you know, like occasionally, and
Yeah.
you know, really hard. And it was basically like military life for them, you know. So it took me a lot of time to come to terms with that,
Yeah.
even though, you know, my whole life I've had like nightmares about it. Like, you know, I've had nightmares about occasions where like it was basically when I say he, meaning my father, was like pointing a gun at my mom, like, I'm gonna kill you and this kind of stuff. And this happened when I was 4 years old.
What?
But yeah, after I'm close to 40 now, and I still have nightmares sometimes about that scene, you know, and other, you know, beatings that inflicted on my brothers and stuff. So I had to come to terms with that, even if that's something that I always try to, you know, push far away, like in a
Yeah.
tiny corner of my mind. It always came up, so I had to find a way to deal with that, basically. And you know, many other things, be it, you know, that at some point as well, my parents separated when I was a child. I think I was like 6 years old when they separated, and they came back together when I was like 11. But you know, during that separation, it was also like with another woman, and yeah, same for. I mean, it was the same. Like, we were not treated the best way. I was lucky enough to be like the last, and you know, in our cultures,
Yeah.
the last kid is always like, you know, the basically the how can I say, like
The craziest one.
not just the craziest one, but also is like the most favored one.
Yeah, the most
you
favored
know,
one.
yeah,
That's
like
true. That's
fathers,
true. Yeah,
especially when it's a boy. Like, fathers always, you know.
Yeah.
My dad was in a position like, yeah, you know, you can do whatever you want with my other kids, but this guy, you never touch him. So basically, at that time, my father's new partner never laid hands on me. But my big brothers had to go through it, you know. They had to walk to school, even though my father had all the means, you know, to pay for the transportation or even drop them at school and everything. They lacked everything. They were mistreated. They were not fed well and everything. And my father was witnessing all that, not saying anything.
But why? Why was it?
I mean, it's hard to explain why, but you know, and also that was also something that was very you know, difficult for me, because of course, because of all that experience, I hated him as a father, but it was also like a kind of like very, very strange relationship, because I hated him for the person that he was, but on the other side, I loved him for the person that he was, being like a hard worker, you know, crazy work ethics, respected in his field and recognized in the whole country, and even like in our region in West Africa and stuff, you know. So we had that relationship, and at some point I had to try to understand also where he was coming from. Him, it was the same, and it was just him repeating the cycle that he went through, because his father died when he was not even born. I think it was 2 months before he was born, and his mother was kicked out of the family, and because it was a pretty, let's say, unlikely union, because at that time my father's father was like a noble, in our tribe.
Okay, like a chief.
Yeah, exactly. He was one of those people close to the chief, like, from the noble families.
Yeah.
And my grandma was from a poor family, and they didn't want them to get married. So they loved each other and they wanted to get married.
Village Wahala.
Exactly. So they got married, regardless of all the, shit around them. And when my grandfather died, basically his family kicked my grandma out. They sent her back to a family without anything. I mean, they took all the properties and everything, and they sent her back to her family the way she was. I mean, the way she came. And when she went back to her family also disowned her because they were like, we told you not to get married with that guy, and you did. So, screw you. You're on your own. So she had to go through a lot of shit. And just like her, my father and his big brother, because she had 2 kids with my grandfather, so they had to go through a lot of shit as well. So they went back to, from that life of novelty to pretty much nothing. And he had to build himself up all the way to, till he got to where he was. And it wasn't an easy journey as well.
Yeah.
He used to live with an uncle, his uncle, so another grandfather of mine, who was a pretty horrible person, so he went through that trauma, and basically he was putting us through the same shit again, not breaking the cycle. So we had to deal with that.
But how's your relationship presently with your dad?
With my dad? Oh, we have a pretty great relationship. Of course, it wasn't always easy, that's kind of what motivated me as even as a young adult to leave home, pretty early and, move to Ghana, for instance, to go and study there because I couldn't bear being at home and in the same environment with him, because there are some conversations that we could never have, And also, it was a cultural things in Africa. There are some things you cannot tell your parents.
I mean, that's the same thing. It's just so sad. Even I myself, I grew up without having proper conversation with my dad. Sometimes I wish I grew up in a way that I could relate with him on many topics.
Exactly. We basically grew up without knowing our parents.
Yeah.
And they die without us
knowing them. I could never sit with my father and speak about things.
We don't know what they like. We don't know what they ate. We don't know what were the aspirations. We don't know what their regrets are. We don't know where their goals, their goals were. We don't know nothing about them. All we know is that they are our parents. They provided for us when we were kids, and they made a way for us to become the people that we are today. But not always in a good way, sometimes in a fucked up way, because sometimes you carry on what you were taught as a kid, and you have to try to unlearn all those patterns as an adult. And it's not an easy task.
Life is not an easy task in the whole, but like you said, growing up in Africa, man, it was tough. I remember when we came back to Africa, I know that there was a time that we went to the school. One school, me and my other brother in Herbert, and we were not used to corporal punishment. So it was the first time that we were getting corporal punishment.
Oh, shit.
It's Longla College in Cameroon. So when we went very late, and my other brother, so the principal the discipline master was standing in front and said, okay, for you guys that came late, you guys are going to receive 10 strokes on your hands. And you have to give your hands, and they have to give you a stroke. Damn! Man, I said I need to take the strokes, and my elder brother said, "Fuck this shit, man."
That's not happening.
It's not happening. I'm going back home, man. I just went and took it like a soldier. Bah, bah. It was the shit was bad, man. But for me, this is hefty, man.
Yeah,
it's abuse.
It's abuse, exactly.
It's
abuse. But it's interesting because to them, it's not abuse.
Exactly.
To them, it is discipline and education. So there is, you can already see how our generations, are different. And it's not just because we had the chance to live abroad or whatever, but it's just because we grew up at a different time. We had access to, different type of information, different type of TV programs, different type of, human experience with different people that we met. And that taught us that, this is actually not education or discipline. This is abuse.
Yeah, but before we go into that, could you, because you have a child.
Yeah, I do.
And this is, as a father, I'm also a father. There are questions that people have to ask themselves.
Yeah.
Would you allow another person that is not part of your family to discipline your child? Corporal punishment.
Okay,
to be honest with you.
No. I wouldn't even allow anyone.
That's just what I wanted to know.
I wouldn't even allow anyone in my family to do so.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
That's the most
That's a
hardest
big
part.
no.
So I didn't understand how parents back in the days will allow other people, like teachers, to discipline their children in school.
You have to understand that, and this is part of trauma. This is part of general trauma. You have to understand that our parents were born at a time where basically we were still under the influence of the culture that was brought to us by the colonizers. You know, if I take the case of Ivory Coast, I don't know about Cameroon, but if you take the case of Ivory Coast, my country, many people don't even know that slavery was actually abolished in Ivory Coast in 1946.
Yeah?
Yeah, because slavery was just an economic, pursuit by, the powers that you know. And after slavery was abolished, kind of universally in the Western world, some of those powers, and for us it's France, they had to find a way to still make money.
Yeah.
And so they established a system which was called travail forcé, which means forced labor, kind of like the Jim Crow laws in the US, for instance. That was way after slavery was abolished in the US. The Jim Crow laws were like in the 70s. Was put in place in the 70s. And in Ivory Coast, until 1946, there was still a system that was, for me, slavery. So during that time, of course, our grandparents were still slaves for those that were not nobles. And so they received that treatment, which was they were being beaten as part of their education.
Yeah.
And so my dad, for instance, was born in 1956.
Yeah.
So 10 years after that system was abolished. But which means that his father, or let's say his uncles or whatever, you name it, those people were part of that system. Were basically going through that same, trauma of being beaten every day to be taught something. And so they learned from them, and they repeated the same with us, and I allowed other peoples to do that with us. But for us, our generation, we didn't know that, and we don't give a shit about that. So you I don't know, you're the mistress or whatever, the part of the school staff of my son or even my own brother. I'm not allowing you to touch my son, because I know that this is not education, this is not discipline, this is basically abuse. There's another way to discipline kids, and there's another way to educate them, basically.
Yeah. I see the way you connected all this from back to slavery, from the generation, how we connected to our parents.
Yeah.
I see the way you connected all this, and it's really sad that they grew up that way. But then sometimes I know that our parents, they did not know better, because if they did know, they would treat us better.
Exactly.
And they are still learning. So
exactly.
They are all forgiven.
Yep.
They are all forgiven immediately.
Dad, I forgave you.
For sure. Hey man, so yeah, I've been speaking to a lot of African brothers here in Budapest. I came here 2013.
Wow.
Like it's quite many years, and I feel like there is still, every day there is still certain things that we can share, information that we can share.
Yeah.
But knowledge is power, like they say.
Exactly.
The more knowledge you have, the more and powerful you become. So there's so many things that are happening in present moments, like in this mental health, that is affecting a lot of people. We see a lot of increase of men committing suicide, young and old, irrespective of the age. People are dying, left and right.
I was close to it.
I escaped from it. I escaped from it a long time ago, man, because I personally suffered from it. And there are so many ways, and to be honest with you, there are a lot of people out there that are also suffering from that.
Yeah.
I have an old friend that's living in Hungary from America that has personally suffered from mental health. He's been depressed all his entire life, It's crazy. And to be honest, there is help.
There is.
There is help.
But you have to be willing to seek help in the first place. That's the first step. Because no matter, how many resources there are out there, if you don't take the first step yourself, it's never gonna happen.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. So
sometimes you have to identify it.
Yeah.
Figure it out yourself,
Yeah.
If that's why you have to always cross-examine yourself. Every day you have to examine yourself. Like every year or every day you examine how far you're going with your life. Are you stagnant? Are you moving forward?
Yeah.
Are
you growing?
Are you growing as a person? Are you happy? What are the things you have to identify? What makes you happy?
Yeah.
People think that when you reach a certain age in life, you have to forgo what makes you happy.
That's a problem. But it's a pretty deep issue. It has everything. It has some social implications. It has some cultural implications, but it also has some economic implications.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget that therapy costs.
Of course, yeah. It's very expensive.
Even though it's not the only way, to deal with mental health issues.
Of course.
I mean, I would even say that it's the most, it's the ultimate way.
Yeah.
When you don't succeed with, like you said, self-examinations, changing your habits, moving from, some patterns towards, a more healthy lifestyle, and be it even, I don't know, exercising, learning new skills, listening to new podcasts, listening to different type of music, changing your nutrition habit and all those things. If you don't succeed in it, you can go to therapy. And also we also have to make sure that we dissociate, mental health issues with mental illness, because mental illness is even a totally different thing.
Of course,
because that's something that basically has to be clinically diagnosed by a professional, and you can go through some treatment. You can be even put under medications for some kind of disorders that you would have as mental illness. And then mental health is basically you having to deal with some type of anxiety or some type of depression. And we have to learn as people that this is not something that you have to suffer. This is not something that you have to endure. Like you said, there's help out there. You have to be able to identify where your current emotional state is at. Seek for proper help from a professional that will give you guidance, that will help you examine more and more and more, dig deeper into your issues. And it's a continuous journey that you will have to deal with, basically.
Just to jump into what you have just and said, for those who do not have the means to get this, and because therapy is quite expensive. For those who do not have this financial means, are there other alternatives, like this free stuff on the internet? Is it applicable? Does it help? I
would say it depends, because you find everything on the internet. But mental health is not also an obscure science that is only for the knowledgeable people. It's an open field. And you have to everyone has to be able to tap into it. Everyone has to be able to learn about, let's say, even what we call happy hormones, be it serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and all those hormones that can put you in a certain, state, and how to generate these hormones naturally in your body. Like I said, it can be, maybe investing yourself into some different activities. You can just learn to play, let's say, a new instrument that you were always interested in. You can change your eating habits. eating healthier, eating more fruit, eating something, different. You can, invest yourself into something that you always wanted to do. I don't know, bike around, run, the hills, or run on Margaret Island. You can, I don't know, learn to also, understand your emotions well, and, learn how to deal with them, basically, on your own. So that's something that you can do. You don't really need a therapist to do that.
Yeah.
And also, we have to understand that, mental health is, let's say, the result of experiences and traumas.
Yeah.
And like I said, it can be past or present. So sometimes you can find yourself in some, present situation, and you have to have the capacity to dissociate yourself from that situation. It can be, I don't know, being in a toxic relationship that, affect your mental health, affect your emotional stability.
It's like nowadays there's a lot of toxic relationships.
Exactly. So if you don't learn, or if you don't take the step to dissociate yourself from that relationship, obviously your mental or your emotional state will always be the same. It can be working in a toxic environment, working for a company where, I don't know, you're always belittled, your achievements are never acknowledged or recognized. You don't never get a thank you, or good job, or whatever. It can be working with some colleagues that are pretty racist. It can be working for a manager that is racist, and that is denying every opportunity to
Have you experienced that?
Oh, I've experienced many things. I've experienced a lot, I must say. Yeah, I mean, when you've been working for more than 12 years of your life, of your whole life, and working for different companies. Even the company size is important, because in some big companies, for instance, you're basically just a number. You are invisible. Working in different environment of different countries, like I did, worked in India, then moved to Hungary and stuff. There's some things that you experience. There's some things that you definitely experience with either your colleagues or the management, or even the whole company. And it can, all this can also play on your mental health. Even just the environment that you find yourself in. An example for me was when back home, I always lived with my parents, like in big houses. And even when I moved to Ghana to study, it was the same. Found some friends. We rented a 4-bedroom house, not an apartment, a house, with a garden and everything, garage, and And I never lived in a building, an apartment. So I moved to India, and that's the first time for me to live in an apartment.
Okay.
And just the lack of space. Being constricted in a tiny, 60 square meters apartment for me.
Which city in India?
I was living in Noida, which is like North India, close to Delhi. So when people say Delhi, you have Noida, which is a city in a state called Uttar Pradesh. Then you have New Delhi, which is in the state of Delhi. And then you have... what's the name of that other city? I forgot. But yeah, there are 3 different cities that are connected together, and that's what makes the capital city, Delhi.
I've also heard different experiences in India for most of the African guys that were working in India.
Yeah,
I also hear that there's quite a lot of racism there.
There is, and also,
astonishing. And these Indians they're not white. They are.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on where you go in India, because the more north you go, the whiter they are, and the more south you go, the darker they are. And there are some Indians that are darker than us. Just that they have
but they're Asians.
Yeah, the Asians, they have like the soft hair with Indian traits. There are even some Indians that look like us. Like,
of course, even more darker than us.
I mean, even Africans, because also there were some Africans that were sent from Africa, like Kenya and all those countries, many centuries ago in India, and they mixed with the culture there, but there were not too many
Integration.
integration or intercultural mingling. So there are some that still look like us, like typically Africans, just that they are Indians.
And I heard that they are also discriminated against. They
do.
They treat them differently.
They do. I will not say that all Indians are racist, because
Of course
that
not,
would be generalizing, and I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But racism is an issue there.
Yeah.
Colorism is an issue there. The caste system is an issue there. And when you move to India as a black person, it's a totally different experience. I remember when I moved there, because my company, TCS, was paying for our hotel, like for us moving to India, like for the first 2 weeks. And for the first 3 days at the hotel, no one came, for instance, to clean my room or change the towels or whatever, because I guess they didn't want to touch it. And that was one of my first red flag. And then there were many incidents, where, like, I don't know, first day at work, I arrived, like, as usual, like I told you, dressed up in a suit, representing my people and stuff. Like, yeah, we Africans, we also, we can be, pretty.
Of course, that's true.
So I arrived at the office, all dressed up in a suit, tie and everything. Elevator door opens. There's a lady waiting for the elevator. She sees me. She runs away. Literally runs away. Like, I'm in the elevator. I don't even know if I have to go back home or disappear or whatever. And, I enter the office and everyone stops working. And I'm talking about a, big ass office.
You were the first black person?
I was the first black person to work in that particular, not even for the company only, but in the particular center, like the campus. And when you talk about campuses in India, it's like, I don't know, maybe 5-7 buildings with different companies, IT companies and stuff. And I was the first black person to work there. So you can imagine that it was pretty fucked up.
Crazy.
The apartment complex where I was living, there was a swimming pool. And the first time I got in the swimming pool, everyone left. And I was alone. Damn. And at first it bothered me.
Yeah, of course.
And it bothered the fuck out of me. And the next time I was like, yeah, great. I have a swimming pool to myself. So, I enjoyed it as much as I could until they came back to their senses and they realized that I wouldn't make the water any darker, And all those things as well, all those experiences play on our mental health, because sometimes we think we're so tough that we can deal with all that shit. Like, oh, I don't care. But when you go back home and you get back to your bed, you're lying down there and you're like, what the fuck did just happen?
Of course, it affects. It's meant to be honest with you. When I was a child, when I went to in Grundschule in Germany, they used to call me and the N word. They would call me an N word.
Yep.
I'll fight. I'll give some punches. And my father will come to school, but he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what I'm fighting about. So he never asked me questions. Instead of my father to ask me questions, he's gonna beat me. So I was receiving beatings from kids in school and from my dad. I was fighting two forces. You understand? Yep. But I was fighting for my existence.
Yeah, for your existence, for your dignity.
For my dignity. They call me names and I was a kid. I had to defend my honor.
Oh, I went through the same many times in India. Like some people will see me in the metro and call me the N-word and stuff, and will get right into it. I wouldn't fight, but I wouldn't.
Of course, at this age,
I wouldn't also let it slide. I would just approach the guy like, "The fuck did you just say?" And they will try to bullshit me. And once I had a pretty big argument with one of the guys. Not even personally, but because my flatmate, who was from Tunisia, he heard what the guy said and he couldn't accept it. So I was the one trying to calm him, like, yo, chill out. This is India. Yeah. It will always happen. And the guy wouldn't let it slide until the same motherfuckers that called me an N-word, one of them went to call the police of the metro.
Yeah.
And they came to interrogate us. And that's when I got heated. Because for me, it was it was the epitome of the disrespect.
Yeah.
I was just called the N-word, and I'm trying even to calm down my friend, and the motherfuckers going to call the police, and the police comes, And they kind of like, they don't arrest us, but they pull us aside, put us against the wall, and ask us questions. And I lost it. So we had like a huge argument, and I was so loud that I guess at some point the police officer was like, yeah, I guess he's right, you know. And they just like, okay, just leave. And we left. But yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah, man, it's fucked up, man. It's still sad that there was even a word created for us. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
but see, to be honest with you, when I told you that story about my child, you know, it's just a story. Right now, if somebody calls me that word, it doesn't really bother me that much because
yeah, me neither.
I'm in a stage in my life that I'm a dad, you know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't be thinking in that direction. I just know that if somebody ever mentioned that word to me, it's some kind of a very illiterate person.
Exactly.
Very, very dumb
Exactly.
human being. So
Yeah, when you're at a different stage of your life,
exactly, yeah.
there are some things that don't affect you anymore. And you know,
Exactly.
when you're younger, you tend to be, you know, like reactive. You
Yeah.
react to everything
yeah.
that people do to you or say to you and stuff. But when you reach a certain stage of your life, like I meet someone in Budapest and you'll be like, yeah, you know, what's up, N-word and stuff. And I'll just look at him, laugh and move around because that's your shitty life. It's not
But
mine.
have you had any?
That word doesn't define me.
You've had any personal encounter with such things here in Budapest?
Yeah,
Really?
many times.
Wow.
In the metro, in the streets.
And somebody call you the N-word here?
Yeah. And the funny shit is that it thought it was cool and stuff. He even asked me for a picture and stuff. He was, you know, trying to be like that kind of like a rapper shit and all dressed up with, you know, cap turned on the side, and I was just laughing like, bro, nah.
That shit ain't cool.
Exactly, that shit ain't cool.
It's not cool at all.
Yeah, and some of them said it in a very offensive way, you know, to try to, you know, kind of like trigger a certain reaction from me. But I was like, you know, you can move on with your life, especially during COVID, because there were not many people outside. So some people, you know, kind of felt emboldened to, you know, act or react a certain way. And I remember once there was a guy following me in the street of Simpla. I was going just to the restaurant to grab some food. And he was following me in the street and calling me names and insulting me and stuff. And I wouldn't even, you know, respond and stuff. I know that we would stop. I would pretty much beat his ass up, but it's not. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
it wasn't worth it.
It's not worth it.
Like I said, I'm a dad and you know, I'm a father, and I wouldn't want to be, you know, the one throwing punches and going back home with, you know, maybe bruises or scratches on my body just because I want to teach a lesson to someone.
Exactly,
so,
yeah. You know, sometimes it's good to give a pass to some people. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Let it slide. That's why we say somebody calls you the N-word or you let it slide. You know.
Yeah.
They're not worth your time.
Nope.
We're on to better things in life.
Exactly. We are here. We are here to accomplish.
Exactly. You're having a very good position here in Hungary. You're a man. You're doing well for yourself. You're comfortable. No, and you cannot allow any person to take that away from you. Some nuisance.
Exactly, and you can imagine that, you know, I don't know, especially in the new age where everything is recorded, and you find yourself in a position where, you know, you have all the right to beat someone else up, and, you know, basically it's recorded and it's put on the internet, and the company you work for, people see it and be like, yeah, we don't want to associate with ourselves with that, so, you know, so...
A lot of those incidents.
Yeah, when you reach a certain level, you have to learn how to move.
That's true. You're very right. It's very important. So, how do you move in Budapest when it comes to like party scenes? How do you move? What do you do for fun, man?
Well, I would say that for a few years I wasn't out that much, you know, especially after the birth of my son.
Congratulations to that.
Thank you so much. So, you know, I was basically, you know, at home having like, you know, family plans with my ex, I must say, and my son, you know, spending time at the park, traveling together, you know, going to church. I'm a Christian, Catholic, So, you know, going to church, traveling
Same
together,
year.
you know, having those kind of plans. And even though I am a pretty, you know, outgoing person, you know, I just like to meet, you know, other human beings and have a human experience, you know. Socialize, and, you know, it's not just about alcohol and partying and dancing and stuff, but it's meeting people from different backgrounds, different horizons, with their story, you know.
Yeah, meaningful meetings.
Learning about them and learning from them, and also teaching them about you. Yeah. Because we are, you know, ambassadors of our people wherever we go. And it's not just for black people, it's for everyone.
Everyone.
So
that's true.
Even though I like that contact, I mean, the first, let's say, 3 years of my, you know, fatherhood, I wasn't much out. And then last year, you know, I just decided again, you know, it's time to go back outside and see you know, what's up, and, you know, basically do what I like to do, meet new people, have new conversations, enjoy some Afro music and stuff. And it was kind of like, you know, also pleasant to see that there are new, you know, clubs. At the time there was Blended, which is closed now. Yeah. But, you know, had some pretty good time at Blended. I would say that the music wasn't always the best, but still it was that, you know, that vibe to kind of feel like home. Yeah. You know, be able to listen to the music that you like at a club, meeting people like you know, with the same experience and stuff. Yeah. And now there is Metro. I've been there only once, but I must say that I liked it a lot. I sometimes attend, you know, other type of events, be it, you know, kizomba, salsa, bachata, you know, this kind of...
you're man of all weathers.
Yeah, obviously. So, yeah, all these kind of events. I like, you know, cycling around as well, and, you know, traveling, which is also a big part of my identity. I've always loved traveling. As a child, because of my dad's job, we never spent 2 years in the same city. We always used to travel around. Like every year we will move from a city to another one. So I will change school, I will change friends, I will change everything. And it's also part of my identity. So this, you know, stayed with me even being an adult. And so, yeah, I kept that mindset. And yeah, whenever I have the time, if it wasn't for COVID, I would be like traveling all the time. But during COVID, I had to stop traveling, and now that things are open, I mean, I'm kind of like, you know, traveling around. Last year, I went to Berlin and Zakynthos.
Kannst du Deutsch sprechen?
Sorry?
I was asking if you can speak German.
I learned German in school for 5 years. I was pretty good in German. But if you ask me now, I don't remember anything. The only things I remember are die Busen.
Die?
Busen.
Ah! Die Busen.
Die Busen.
Hey!
You know, and, you know, basic things like I'm from Ivory Coast.
Hey, man, that's the only thing you know.
You cannot forget this. So, yeah, die Busen. Ich bin von Elfenbeinküste. I'm from Ivory Coast. Mein Name ist Serge. Like, you know, this kind of sentences that you know, you can always remember. Yeah. But when I was in high school, I was pretty good in German. I was even one of the best students.
Yeah, but I think the reason why you might have forgotten a lot of things because you
didn't practice. After I left high school, I had no one to speak German with. And after my bachelor's degree, because I even wanted to move to Germany, so I went to the Goethe Institute to try to have like some classes there and meet some people and stuff. But after that, you know, I have other things to do. Yeah. You know, that's why I dropped it.
So you were mentioning all the things that you do for fun, but you not mention the Amapiano party. I never seen you in the Amapiano party, boy.
But that's the thing, though. You know, I was so much, you know, indoors that there are many things that I missed until pretty recently. I must say, maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, where I, you know, discovered the piano seller hub on Instagram. And I was like, at first I didn't even look at it because I was like, what the fuck with piano? I thought it was piano related. And then I kept on seeing the recommendation and all those things, and I was like, okay, let me check it out. What is it even about? And I checked the pictures, and it seems cool as fuck. It seems like my kind of, my kind of vibe, my kind of parties, the kind of people I like to be around, with. And ever since I was like, when are they gonna, have the next event? Because I didn't know if it was like an every weekend thing or an occasional thing or, a once in a while thing. And then there was the Amapiano Fest.
Yeah, the Major Amapiano Fest.
Exactly, in which I couldn't attend, and also because in the meantime, my partner also went through a lot of shit and stuff, so I had to be there for her. And ever since I didn't have a chance, to attend any of your parties, but like I told you before even the podcast, that's something that we both looking forward to.
No, I'm going to welcome you guys.
We went together to Blended, and it was pretty funny. We went together to Blended like I think 3 or 4 times with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time was cool, and then the next time it was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like it was just like a game of cat and mouses, like guys, mostly black guys chasing those young white girls, or white girls chasing those black guys, and all seeing the guys. I'm not a judgy person, but also I have a certain taste. I mean, in the environment I like to be in, and I like to find myself in.
Exactly.
So when I go to a place and I don't see that and I don't find that, I don't go there anymore.
Yeah.
And I went to Blended a few times. First of all, that cat and mouse thing bothered the fuck out of me, because it's like, it's fine. Everyone does their thing, whatever, but it doesn't really sit well with me. And then the people and stuff, it was like, so at some point it turned to a game where we were just going there with my partner, sitting around, basically not having fun, but we have to do something. We have to listen to
the music,
Afro music somewhere. So we would go there, grab some drinks, sit around and look at the shit going on and be like, yo, the fuck is happening? But I saw the pictures of the Piano Cellar Hub, and that looked pretty dope. And also it's Amapiano. I mean, the music is...
Yeah, man. The Major Amapiano Fest is different from the Piano Cellar Hub. So the reason why it's 2 different platforms is because we're trying to give people different experiences in life. The Major Amapiano Fest is mostly about the festivity of Amapiano, where everybody can be part of it. Yeah. And the Piano Cellar Hub is more of socializing, networking, and different experiences. You know. But at the end of the day, it's a lifestyle. Amapiano is a lifestyle.
Exactly. It's a vibe and it's a lifestyle.
I don't like to compare it with different genre of music.
Exactly.
You need to understand that, and you need to understand the background of it itself. It's a whole community. And the people that come to Piano Cellar Hub, man, they're very, 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 with capital letters, very cool.
Exactly. I saw the picture, and when a place is cool, you can feel it, you can sense it, and it has nothing to do with everything I've ever seen in Budapest. And there were a few Afro clubs when I moved here, the Sunshine and others around at the time. And the Piano Cellar Hub is something totally different, and we are really looking forward to it. So just tell us whenever there is something, and you will see our feet.
Hey man, I got a surprise coming up. Don't worry, man. You guys are gonna see the information very soon. It just sometimes to put out certain things, I think it takes time to strategize. Yeah. So everything, good things, quality things takes time. So,
definitely.
So I'm not trying to.
It is better to take your time and to put some product out that everyone would remember.
Exactly.
To disrupt than to do whatever everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what we see every day.
Exactly, man. Piano Cellar Hub is my passion. I love being part of it, and I love being part of the community. I love being part of the vibe, getting to know a lot of people through it, and learning so many different new things every day. So it's a whole journey. I think, and one of my intentions is to take this around Hungary.
Yeah, even I think it was today or yesterday, I saw a new Instagram page for the Piano Seller Hub in France.
Yeah.
And I saw it, I think it was yesterday or today.
I'm a Piano Seller Hub.
Yeah, something like that in France. And I guess it was yours as well. So that's pretty cool. It's expanding, and that's pretty dope. So
in France, in Holland, in Germany. So what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna take it around Europe. But first, we'll take it around Hungary. Then we take it to the next countries. But there are a lot of platforms coming up, and I think that it's beautiful. That we're expanding piano to the world, man. Piano to the world.
Yep.
Hey, man. So as we were speaking about, Budapest, this is where we are based. So for now, I think for the next couple of years, we're still gonna be here.
Yeah, definitely.
You as well. Right?
Yeah, I'm here. So, my partner is Hungarian, so I'm not going anywhere.
So you're a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
She's Hungarian.
Yeah. I like to use partner because
partner.
It's more,
sorry, partner. Yeah.
No worries. But it's more like a partnership. It's more than that, because for me, girlfriend, it's fine, but it's kind of like same a bit, just kind of like young adult things or teenage things and stuff. But when you reach a certain level in your life, it's more a partnership, because there are more to it than just meeting and having fun. It's plans, it's ambitions, it's common plans and common ambitions and common interest and common everything. So
sustainability.
Yes, sustainability. Growth together and stuff. So that's why I like to use the term partner, because it describes more this kind of relationship than the girlfriend boyfriend thing.
Basically. Man, I love couples, man. I love people that.
I love being in a couple.
No, but to be honest with you, man, I love couples, man. I love people that are in a relationship. It's so beautiful, because I know that at the end of the day, it's love, man. Yeah. It's all about love. Two people that love each other, they love themselves, they are together, they're doing things, they are sharing love, they're positive. It's beautiful to see.
It is.
I every time I'm walking on the street, I see people holding hands. I love it. I love that.
And at the end of the day, we can say whatever we want. Like, I see nowadays. It's not just now, but in the past years, there's that mindset that grew about, the boss lady, the boss guy, that I am my own this, I am my own that, I don't need anyone. Like, no, fuck that. You need someone. It's that simple. You need someone.
That's true, man.
So whatever you want to say, you need someone. It can be any type of relationship, but at the end of the day, you need someone. So, yeah.
But it's also about why. Why do you need someone?
Yeah.
Well, if you're just bored and you want to be with someone because you're bored, it's a different.
Yeah, it's a
situation.
different thing. It's a different thing.
But for me, where I'm right now in my life, relationships are very. For me, I think relationship is very meaningful.
They are.
It's not something that to joke with somebody, because these are people's life.
Exactly.
To be in a relationship with a person is a human being's life.
Exactly.
And I'm not the one that I want to waste someone's life, because I've, in the past.
Yeah, and likewise, I wouldn't want someone to waste my life.
Exactly. No, it's a mutual thing.
Exactly.
No, but through mistakes, you learn and you develop yourself, become better, and you become more formidable.
Exactly.
And all those and factors makes you to become more intentional.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I'm not the one to give people advice about relationship. It's a subjective. It's a subjective feeling, but I'm happy to see you in a relationship, my brother.
Yeah. It's been great. It's been great, and it's it's really, let's say.
How is an intercultural relationship for you?
For me, it's interesting. For me, everything different is interesting, and the fact that she's from here, a place where I've been for roughly 5 years. I don't speak the language and stuff. It's challenging, but I also love it because it's also teaches me how to adapt. Shows me that I don't have to speak the language to show love and show appreciation to the people that are dear to her. To her late parent, for instance, to her sister. Doesn't speak English and I don't speak Hungarian, but we have that bond and we have that relationship through different experiences and different way of communicating. It can be just gestures, it can be tiny gift like flowers, whatever you name it, spending time together, making a nice Ivorian dish for them to try and all those things and stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty cool, I would say.
That's beautiful to see two interracial and couples. It's a very beautiful thing.
It is beautiful, but I would say that it's not always appreciated. And that's an issue that we have to address sometime in our community.
Like how? What do you mean?
Because, I've been living here for 5 years. And obviously, when we moved here 5 years ago, there were not so many black people, let's say.
Yeah.
There were not so many of us around. And then the community grew and it keeps on growing, and there are many people that arrive and stuff. And last year, for instance, when, I started going out again, after all the COVID restrictions were lifted and, I went to Blended, I met, I was happy to meet many Africans, girls and boys and stuff, but I could feel the animosity, between them because, and that's some feedback and some, discussion that I had with my male African friends and also even some female African friends. Some of the black girls here think that all the black guys, when they move here, they get into white girls and they don't date black girls anymore and all those and all that shit. And likewise, the black guys, they think, oh, when the black girls move here, all they look for is a way to get their papers and stay in Europe. So they don't want to do anything with black guys, and they will direct their attention towards white guys. And to me, that's a fucked up thing, first of all, because anyone is allowed to date whoever they want to date.
Exactly.
Regardless of the ethnicity. I don't even say race, because there's only one race. It's the human race.
Exactly.
Fuck that color shit.
Yeah.
So everyone is allowed to date whoever they want to date. And as a community, we have to stop with that talk of, black guys, when they move here, all they want to do is chase white girls around, or black girls, when they move here, all they want is the paper to stay in Europe and whatever. If they want the paper, fine. If they want to chase white girls, fine. It all depends on everyone's, whatever preference, interest, experience as well, and even self-love sometimes. Because let's not deny that some people put themselves in some situations because they don't really have some love for the person that they have in the beginning. So, it's an easy way for them to, but regardless, fuck that shit. Everyone should be able to date whoever they want to date.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, but I don't even understand, why do people even mind other people's business? If somebody's in a relationship with a person, how does it affect you?
I will be frank. I met some black girls in Blended, and I was with my partner, and just because I was with my partner, the way they were looking at us, then the looks they were throwing, the stares they were throwing at us, I was just smiling inside like, the fuck? Because also, we have to acknowledge, like I said, that cat and mouse game that people play in the black clubs here, everyone chasing the other person from other ethnicities and stuff. Yeah, it maybe doesn't look right, but at the end of the day, let's also understand that we are not all the same. So if I accept that you are who you are, and you can date whoever you are. You don't have to look at me sideways because you see me with, a person from a different ethnicity.
That and personally, I don't know what other people think. For me, I think a relationship is not about the color.
It's not about color.
It's the person,
Never.
right?
And it shouldn't even be.
It's the characteristics.
It
of the
shouldn't
person.
even be. If you make it about color, you have a big issue.
Yeah, that's if the color is the predominant thing in a relationship, then there's a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because relationship is not people that want to be in a relationship, they have to be colorblind. Any person can be in a relationship with anybody. It's all about personality, so many different things apart from color.
Yeah.
So I border to border, I would think I would tell you that you should not even pay attention to this kind of things.
Oh, I really
it's
don't.
really not important, my brother.
I really don't. To me, it's like
African.
I just laugh about it, because it shouldn't even be a conversation to be had.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. I think there is still much emphasis about and men's and mental health, and there's a lot of we still have to have a lot of conversation about this kind of things. It's impossible to have this conversation in one sitting.
Exactly. The only thing I will add is, like they say in Ivory Coast, in my country where I'm from, we say something in French that il n'y a pas de place au cimetière pour les courageux. Which means,
say it again, please.
Il n'y a pas de place au cimetière pour les courageux.
Oh man, I love French.
meaning that there's no like special spot in the cemeteries for the braves, the people that are brave. And the advice that I can give my brothers, other men like me, is that, you don't have to feel like you're too tough to deal with, mental health issues, or that you don't need help.
Yeah.
No, you do. When you do, you have to acknowledge that and you have to seek help, basically. You will not be seen a different way because, you're trying to better yourself or to, outgrow the person that you are today.
Exactly.
You're not going to be seen as weak because you display your emotions or that you even cry. When you hurt, you're not going to be, belittled. And even if you do, or even if you are, it's none of anyone's business.
Exactly.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Mental health is a personal journey.
Yeah.
So when you need help, seek help.
Yeah.
When you need counseling, seek counseling. If you need therapy, seek therapy. If you need to leave that job that doesn't serve you, leave that job. If you need to leave that relationship that is weighing on your mental health, leave that relationship.
Yeah, and I also think that it's good for people to have good and meaningful friendship.
Exactly.
Friendships that don't judge you, but they constructively criticize you.
Exactly.
And friends that you can be vulnerable around.
Exactly.
Friends that you can be able to cry and they will not say, "Hey, you're a pussy."
Exactly.
Cry, no?
Exactly. Yeah, man up.
Exactly.
Like, what the?
Yeah, man.
What up?
I'm blessed, man. I count my blessings every day. I have very good friends, man. I have beautiful friends. Friends that allow me to be at this age. I'm still able to cry in front of them, and I'm able to express my emotions, my emotions to them. Hey, blah.
Yeah.
Man, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Brother,
it's not easy.
And they say, and we make a fast prayer together. So I'm very happy that I have this kind of friends. A lot of people out there don't have this kind of friends.
Exactly. Back in, I think it was beginning of 2021, so last year, I was shocked to hear that one of my friends committed suicide.
Yeah.
And he was from Serbia, and is actually one of the people that recruited me in TCS, and gave me the opportunity to go to India. And for me, it was a shock because a few months before that, we met on the bus, and we had a pretty nice conversation, and I could never see, that coming. which kind of like, you know, also triggers something into me. Like you can see a smile on people's face, but you don't know what they're going through.
Exactly,
You
man.
know.
I'm telling you.
So
I'm telling you, man.
yeah, we have to, you know, when we need help, we have to seek help, but also we have to be kind to
other
other
people, man.
We have to be kind to, you know, to one another, because you never know what the other person
Is going through.
You never
Exactly.
know the struggles that they're facing. You never know the demons, the things that are haunting them on a daily basis, you know. And sometimes what people, you know, going through some type of depression or mental health issue need is not, you know, for us to always tell them what to do.
Exactly.
It's for us to just be there for
listen.
them
Yes.
and listen when they need it, and really be a friend. You know, I remember that, you know, when I was going through it in my situation, I had some friends that approached me and, you know, tried to tell me what to do in that situation.
That's the problem. Sometimes people always think that they know.
They know
have the solution to everything.
Exactly.
You
And they will
know?
tell you, yeah, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that, oh, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes they will even minimize what you're going through.
And they don't listen.
They don't listen to,
They
you know, they don't
don't.
listen to you. And you find yourself, you know, you find yourself on your own, basically, when you don't have good friends. You know, like you said, I was blessed to, you know, have some pretty good friends, even though they were not in Hungary at the time, that I could be, you know, I was able to call at any time in the night and, you know, share my struggles with, and, you know, like you said, even at my age, cry on the phone with, and, you know, basically be vulnerable, you know, around them. And it is important for us men to realize that all that culture that, you know, we have around, that toxic masculinity and all that culture of being tough, it doesn't really serve us. It doesn't, you know, being vulnerable doesn't mean that you are weak. It means, on the contrary, to me, it means that you are strong enough to show your emotions and be able to deal with your emotions and deal with what you're going through and know how to handle them better.
Exactly,
basically.
bro. Yeah, man. It's not easy growing up in an African setting, to be honest with you. Well, you know, I'm saying this because I grew up in Germany. I grew up in Africa.
Yeah.
And right now you're growing up you're experiencing Europe.
Yeah.
You know, it's two different things.
Two different things. Yeah.
So back and forth in my childhood, you know, from Cameroon to Africa, from let's say from Cameroon to in Europe, and from Europe back to Africa. It was crazy, man, and it's, I can say it's a blessing and it's a curse, because you learn the sweet and the sour life. For example, when I grew up in Germany, I had European family.
Yeah.
Because I spent a time apart from my African parents, and I was spending it with my Caucasian parents.
Yeah.
And they gave me a different type of love. I'm not saying that the type of love my parents gave me was bad, but for example, my European mom would tuck me in and give me a kiss at night.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom doesn't do that, but it doesn't mean that she's bad. It's just that
exactly.
She doesn't know that. That
Exactly.
kind of thing. She doesn't know that.
Exactly.
So when I was experiencing this back and forth emotions, I was getting used to the different emotion. But sometimes when I would spend so many months with my Caucasian family, I want to go back to my African family and eat the food.
Yeah.
I miss the food. I miss the argument with my brothers, you know. Yeah. So man, at the end of the day, man, home is where the heart lies. So.
Yeah. I feel you, bro. I mean, it's the same for me. You know, of course, I don't have that. I didn't have that experience of a culturally diverse family setting, but we share the same things
Yeah.
about the way our parents, for instance, express love.
Yeah.
And they express, affection and stuff. Our parents, there's some things that they will never say openly.
Of course.
Like you said, it doesn't mean that they're bad parents.
No,
it doesn't mean
not at all.
It doesn't mean that they don't feel those things. It just means that they have other ways to express their love and their affection for us. You know.
My father will whip the shit out of me, fuck me up, man. But it doesn't mean that he hates me. It was just his way of discipline.
Yeah.
No,
sometimes they won't even say I love you. I recently I was having a
to be honest with you, I never heard this from my parents.
And that's what is interesting.
But it doesn't mean that they don't love you.
Exactly. I was home. I was home some time ago, and I had a conversation with my parents and stuff. And when I was leaving, like we usually have when you're visiting, everyone is around. When you're leaving, the day you're leaving as well, everyone is around. So they were like uncles, aunties, cousins, nephews, whoever you name it, throw a big ass party and stuff. We had a lot of drinks, a lot of fun and stuff. And I'm leaving and I'm saying goodbye to everyone, and my dad is sitting there like silent, not saying anything. And I say goodbye to everyone, and at some point I approach him and I sit on the arm of the chair he's sitting in, and I hug him and I tell him, it's time for me to leave and stuff. And that's the first and the only time that I remember the words "I love you" come out of the mouth of my father. And which is very different from the let's say European or Western or whatever the fuck they call it culture. Those they're very expressive of their love for their the kids or everyone that they love basically. But for our parents it's not the same. And when I heard that, for me it was a shock, because I never remember my father utter these words, these 3 words, "I love you," and it was pleasant. Let's say it was pleasant to hear that. With my mother, it's different because, of course, she wasn't that person as well, especially when I was a teenager and stuff. But when I grew up, and with my kind of like life experience, living in different countries and stuff, I always try to push them toward that and like being more expressive and stuff. So it worked pretty easy with my mom because mothers are mothers. So I was always tell her like I love you, like repeat it. And at the beginning she would just hug me and all those things. But now it's pretty common. It comes easily from her, like after every phone call or every physical meeting and stuff. Whenever I would hug her and tell her I love you, she will say I love you back. This kind of stuff.
Even me nowadays, when I speak to my mom on the phone, I'm capable of telling her that, "Hey, mommy, mama, I love you," and she'll reciprocate.
Yeah.
But as a child, it was strange.
Exactly.
See, man, before we continue, I just want to ask you, man, you smell very nice. And you told me something about fragrances. You like fragrances. I want to know what you're using.
Right now, I'm using a Paco Rabanne Black Excess Night perfume.
We have taste.
I like good stuff.
I see your setup, man. You like this.
I like good perfumes. I like to, that's another thing as well. We discussed that earlier. Was many weeks ago. After the episode
with Opsy.
After the episode with that young lady. That's something that I really appreciated. That's another thing with especially as men. Most men believe that taking care of themselves is synonymous of being put in a certain box. You don't have to.
Self-care.
It should be. You should feel comfortable sitting in. Exactly. You should be comfortable sitting in a nail salon and having like some manicure, pedicure.
Of course.
You should feel comfortable. Taking pretty good bath. I'm not talking about a shower, but
Yeah.
a bath. Nice bath, candles around, glass of wine.
Yeah.
You leave the bath, put
Yeah,
on a
of
nice,
course.
nice perfume, nice fragrance. All
Yeah.
those things. So I do that. I love self-care. I
Number one.
love fragrances. I cannot even count how many perfumes I have.
Very important.
Really, I cannot count.
Very important.
From Kouros, Yves Saint Laurent
Yeah.
to Hugo Boss, which is one of my favorite. Deodorant, Hugo Boss, the scent. Same for the fragrance. Another perfume, Hugo Boss Orange, Versace perfumes. And all the other basic ones just for every day. But I like to smell good.
No, man, brother, to be honest, your fragrances.
Thank you.
Man, when you walk in here, I was like, I have to ask him this. What is he using? But I will ask him on the podcast. Man, you smell good, man. I'm a person I like to appreciate good things.
Thanks, bro.
I love good things.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
I think it's very important. Anyway, I'm going to have a partnership with the nail salon pretty soon. You guys are going to see the name of the nail salon. They have accepted to make my nails. We're going to be making nails there.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. Most of my set culture, when we work there, we have that benefit. The set culture. Most of my set culture go towards self-care.
Very
it can
important.
be, massages.
Even facial.
Exactly.
Whether they press all the sebums from your face.
I have face massages.
Very
I have
important.
full body massages, relaxing sport massages. I go to chiropractors. I go to beauty salons to have a manicure, pedicure, and all those things. And that's it. I mean, if it's for restaurants, that's something you can pay for with your own money.
But I see you take good care of yourself, man.
You have to.
You take good care of yourself.
You have
You fine looking brother, man.
Yeah, man.
Fine looking brother. Hey.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
It's a fine looking brother, bro.
I appreciate it. When you're close to 40, you have to.
Hey man, same like me, yeah. You have to.
You have
Hey,
to.
today I went to take off some of my age.
You have to. Exactly.
Hey, man, it's very nice for me to catch up with a fine brother from Africa. We talk about things that are happening around us, day to day, and practices.
Yeah.
For me, having a conversation with you and living in Hungary and how we can move forward and help each other to even and create a community that we can see ourselves and our children in it,
Exactly.
It's very, very important.
Exactly.
Because some people intend to live here for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that everyone, but some people intend.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong in that, because the world is a global. We're living in a global village.
Yep.
And people nowadays they move from different countries to different countries.
Oh, definitely.
And then you can make your home anywhere. There's nothing wrong in that. So
Exactly.
I'm falling in love with this beautiful country.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm falling in love with this beautiful country. I love Hungary, and I can say I'm a Hungarian, even though I don't speak the language very well. Yeah, so when Hungarian people see me, each vagyok, Magyarország.
Yeah, likewise, no country is perfect.
Exactly.
And I hear many people, especially from our community, talk a lot of shit about, Hungary and stuff. But, people, I feel like people have to show more appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can say whatever we want, but at the end of the day, it's not the best country.
They accepted us here.
Yeah, not only that, but also we have, I would not say standard of life, but we have some kind of environment that we wouldn't have in our country. Doesn't mean that we cannot have that
of course,
anywhere else.
Yeah.
But there's some things that we should appreciate,
Certainly.
I would be like, for instance, back home, I would go to the club, at a certain time in the night. I wouldn't even want to go out of the club to smoke a cigarette because it's so dangerous. at any time, at any point in time, someone can pull up on a motorbike and rob you at gunpoint.
Ivory Coast?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's the reality there.
Even now?
Even now.
But I thought it's
Even
more
now.
safe.
Nope. It's not safe at all.
But after Laurent Gbagbo, things change, right?
Yeah, I mean things change, but also some things have always been the same and are never gonna change. Because security there is a big issue. The police, they're not doing their job, and yeah, of course you can get robbed at any time. I've witnessed even robberies. The last time I was there in 2019, I've witnessed robberies like live. Same thing that I just described. Two people pulling up on a tiny Vespa, one of them pulling out a gun or a machete or this kind of stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and robbing someone of their cell phone or anything. So there are those kind of tiny things that we have to appreciate. We can talk a lot of shit about Budapest or Hungary. This country is like this, this country is like that. If you were back home, if you left the club at 2 a.m. in the morning, sometimes you wouldn't even feel comfortable hopping in the cab and to go home.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can go out to the club and even walk my way all the way back home and not fear anything.
Yeah, you're right.
It's that simple. As a parent, that's something as well that sometimes you have to learn to appreciate.
Yeah.
If my kid was back home schooling, I would be worried sitting in the office every day thinking about who is going to look after him. Every time they have some free time and they have to be at the playground playing, is there an adult watching over them at the end of their school day? Who is gonna pick him up to send him back home and all those things? I would have to worry about that because there's a lot of fucked up things happening. And here, that's something I don't have to worry about that. I will never worry that anyone would kidnap my kid in Hungary. Yeah. And these are the kind of things that happen back home. And it's not just Ivory Coast. It's many black countries. Yeah. Many African countries in Africa. So that's something that we have to learn to appreciate. The kind of safety that we give in here, the kind of peace of mind, the kind of ease of life, or even other things. I wake up here, I can even walk to my workplace.
Yeah,
back home I had to spend 2 hours or 3 hours in the traffic, wasting my gas, wasting my time. Have to work. You start your work day at 8:30, and you have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And here you start your work day at 9 or 8 in the morning, and you can wake up at 7 in the morning and still be on time because the public transport is great. Not too many people, not many cars. 9 million people. That's one city in my country.
Yeah.
So that's something that we have to learn to appreciate. The green, sceneries around us, being able to take a walk on Margaret Highland or Gellert Hill, or even just in your neighborhood, the local park there, being able to wake up in the morning, put on some, workout gear and go out to the park and go running or go, do some push-up and stuff. Who has that in their countries?
Yeah, man.
Not many people anyway. So there's something that we have to appreciate about this country.
Of course, certainly.
And,
a couple of days ago, there was a news in Nigeria, man. It saddens my heart. A group of, and I don't know, it's terrorists or a group of headsmen. They got into a church and they killed everyone in the church. And when I hear all these stories, man, even in my own country, Cameroon, they're having this war. I don't know if you heard about it. The Amazonian war.
The Amazonian and stuff. That's the biggest issue.
And people don't even know about this, I was talking about this the last time with my friend that there's a war in my country. And he said, really?
Because no one pays attention.
Yeah,
and it's not always mediatized
because they don't care.
People don't care,
and
it's
because
not always mediatized.
It's an insignificant country, but so to say. Not to me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a very important topic because it's my country, and
exactly.
it's affecting a lot of people which are part of society.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it is what it is. We all know why there's a war back in Cameroon.
Yeah.
It's a long story. This is not the time to talk about it. There will be another episode. But anyway, see, as we do it here, we give a gift to all our guests, man.
Oh, wow.
And I just want to give this to my brother here for coming to
Thank
my
you
residence.
so much, bro.
It's all about love, man. We're
Thank you
here
so
spreading
much.
the positivity.
I appreciate it, bro.
Man, it's all about the positivity here. Is there any word you can give to the people that African community here in Hungary?
I would say, our community has to be more like, united. I see that we kind of live in, groups.
Yeah.
There's the Ivorian groups, there's the Cameroonian group,
yeah.
there's the Kenyan group, there's the, Ugandan group, there's the, people from Botswana's group, and Nigerian and whatever, even Tunisians, Moroccans, Egyptians, whatever you name it, even though some of the people there don't consider themselves as being Africans, the fact is we are from the same continent, so they have to accept it. But the message is that we have to be more united, because we have so much to offer.
Yeah.
There's so many skills in our community, IT engineers, financial analysts, economists, accountants,
Architects,
entrepreneurs, lawyers, medical professionals, entertainers, and all those things. And we have to be, able to come together and, basically network.
Exactly.
And learn from, one another. We don't have to stay in our circles, in our bubbles, in our circles and stuff. And if we have to go back to the mental health, topic, we also have to be, supportive, because
Definitely.
we are from the same cultural background.
Definitely.
And we know better, about each other's culture.
That's true.
We have to be able to, be there for our brothers and sisters. We have to be able to be present and listen to those struggling, and support them, basically. And I hope that this is gonna come, at a certain time. And it's pretty cool that, you put up this platform to give us a voice. I appreciate it. Like,
Amen.
Really
Change is gonna come.
Exactly.
It's gonna come. I feel it in my soul.
Exactly.
Change is gonna come. Hey man, see, this platform is not. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the people. I'm always very, very, and very, very honored to speak to anybody. It's not about the race. It's about anyone that has something meaningful to share to the people. We all people, and we all have a story to tell. And I think no one's story should be minimized. Even the homeless person. Guess what? The homeless person is here for a reason. There's a reason why he's here. Just because you don't go close to a homeless person doesn't mean that they don't have a story.
Exactly. It doesn't mean that they're invisible.
Exactly. If you go close to the homeless person and get to know that person, they might share one or two things that you don't know about.
Yeah, they might share some gems.
Yeah. That's how this world operates. Ubuntu Nation. Amen. It's been a very, very beautiful session of the 4th edition of the Budapest Serial Chillers. And I'm here with my homeboy Serge. Man, it's been a great conversation. Thank you guys for watching all this long conversation. And I want to thank him personally for coming to my residence. To all of you here in Budapest, please, if you guys want to be a part of the Budapest Serial Chillers, reach out to me on DM. Let's meet and talk.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, man. It's Budapest Serial Chillers signing out. Peace.
Follow the YouTube page and the Instagram page as well.
Thank you very much. Peace, man.
God bless.
God bless.
ebichokolote dimenende na batemba na mutondi mwanyu mwanijaga